I'm just having a look at and doing a little bit of math when I'm looking at the Dolphins, and we can talk all we like about the new players that they've got next year, and that is Selwyn Cobbo and Morgan Knowles, who I think was one of those guys who came out of that England-Australia series with an enhanced reputation, Maestro. I thought he was really good for England. But between Tom Gilbert, Tom Flegler, Max Plath, and Daniel Saifidi, who you would say are all middle forwards, they played a total of 26 games of a possible 96 between them. The injury curse that bestruck the Dolphins was just so cruel, and yet they still just missed out on a finals berth.
And, the funny thing that sprung to my mind as you were reading that list out, Jimmy, is whether Christian Wolf becomes enamoured with his middle forwards like he did while he was coaching Tonga a little bit and over-indexes on that. But I'd be keen to see what the result is because they haven't had any for basically the past 2 seasons. So I can only imagine the excitement that is coursing through Isaiah Katawa's veins as he gets ready with these guys when they come back to pre-season towards the end of December. Like, that's going to give that side a completely different complexion and one which was already trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
As we heard from the analyst, he thinks they're a smoky to go all the way this year.
What they were able to do with 23-year-old Kurt Donahue, who was basically a reject from Newcastle, Oren Keeley, 22-year-old reject from Newcastle, Connolly Lemuelu, who had been a bit part player for a long time, some of the footy that he played this year, and you're right, that it was almost that little small ball that Cameron Serrato had done so well at the Bulldogs is what they ended up having to do because of all those injuries. G. Flegler's an interesting watch next year. He played in the grand final for the Broncos 2 years ago. Played State of Origin. Highly touted. Went there and an unfortunate injury. And the news is that he will be back in 2026. So that is absolutely huge for Christian Wolf. Christian Wolf, he's one of those guys who, despite that injury toll, his reputation was enhanced after Wayne Bennett left. Has been tarnished a little by Tonga's performance in the Pacific Championships, but this is a big season for Christian Wolf. Jack Bostock only played 13 games, and I know most teams have an injury story, but none had an injury story outside of South Sydney. None had an injury story like the Dolphins last year.
So essentially those guys are coming in as new signings.
Yes.
You mentioned, the massive watch on Tommy Flegler is can you recapture that form now?
Yep.
Essentially has had nearly 2 years out of footy. That's a long time.
So long. And remember, we were all talking about Gordon Tallis had a year out of footy. How will that go? Well, Gordon was doing all the contact work at training. Thomas Flegler's been doing none of that. We presume that he comes back to near what his best is. Herbie Farnworth remains a key. I was thinking about the wildcard round. So they finished ninth, if we had it in rugby league. The wildcard round, they finished ninth. Remember he nearly played the last game? He would have played the wildcard round.
Yeah.
So that's the other part about it too. You do get players back. And someone like Herbie Farnworth, who extended to 27, but went, no, just 1 year, because there's a new club coming on the horizon in 2028. And then what version of Selwyn Cobbo do they get? That's Christian, Michael Maguire did it. Anthony Seibold had it. Kevin Walters had it. Christian Wolf's going to think, I'll get the best out of Selwyn Cobbo.
Which is interesting, right? Because those 3 coaches you mentioned are very, very different man managers.
Totally.
Football coaches. So how does a 4th sort of stand into that? What do we put Christian closest to? Sort of a Kevy Walters-Seibold mix or a Madge Walters mix?
That's a good question.
I'm trying to think which profile he sort of fits.
I think stern disciplinarian that gets very close with his players. So what's that?
It's Madge and Kevy merged into one, isn't it?
Maybe. Exactly. The best bits of both those guys. So spine, Jeremy Marshall-King,
yes.
Isaiah Katoa, Jake Avarillo, and then is it Hamiso or is Hamiso in the centres? Do you deny Trey Fuller any further? Because what he was able to do at the back end of this year was quite superb.
And how do you best use those? So Hammer probably retains that spot at fullback, right? You have to say as a great asset. Is there anywhere else that Trey Fuller can fit into that back line? On the wing? No. He's a full back.
Jermaine Asako, Jack Bostock, Hammer at the back, Farnworth, Cobbo in the centres.
So Trey's the backup.
So Trey is the backup.
That is really, really rough on him.
And that's leaving out Jake Avarillo,
Yeah.
who played some good footy in a number of different positions this year.
Good depth.
Great
if they
depth.
can stay fit.
Great depth. And then George Williams coming in 2027.
What do you make it like? I know this is probably a side point, but what do you make of that? Because George didn't look particularly impressive over the 3 test matches, I think. Well, the first one particularly.
I tell you what it can do is you forget the level that they're playing at just to be competitive with Australia. And we've had the analysts talk about how bad the series was from an error point of view and that England were even worse than Australia. But that doesn't mean that they straight away go and not being able to play. You're talking high level.
Yes.
A high level player, not play of game.
And you think playing next to Isaiah Katawa, if his growth continues at the same rate, like that's a nice little weapon to have next to you and perhaps give you a little bit more running room, as we saw for Luke Brooks at the start of his tenure at the Manly Seagulls next to Daly Cherry Evans. Looked an improved footballer, and
Yes.
I can't say that's anything adding to his skill set. It's just having more room to operate in because of the threat coming from the other side of the ruck.
And isn't that the same with Cody Nikorima?
Yes.
Did you see Cody Nikorima play better in his career than he did this year?
No.
Probably not. So, and then Cody Nikorima's going, well, hang on, I had my career best year last year. Stepping in this year, what's George Williams all about?
Can I ask your opinion on Jeremy Marshall-King? Like, where does he sit at the moment in sort of the NRL's list of hookers, of dummy halves?
He's 29, Jeremy Marshall-King.
Older than you think,
he
right?
looks
Older
young.
than you think.
He's young looking.
Yeah.
29. Oh, God, you put me on the spot here. He's a top 10 hooker.
Top 10?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
He's a
happy
top
with
10
that.
hooker.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
I think easily. And I think we just heard from the analyst how much improved New Zealand will be with Jeremy Marshall-King as their first choice hooker. Isaiah Katoa, they've just got to do it. We talked about it during the course of this year. 10-year deal. 10-year deal. Terry Reader and Christian Wolf will be up there working out. And just like the Roosters have done, we've got him on the cap for the next 3 years at $650. That's great. However, in the interests of your franchise long term, I think all of Isaiah's family has gone up to be with him at Redcliffe.
Which suggests he's very happy, right? And why wouldn't he be? He's taken that opportunity with both hands. He's the youngest captain in the NRL this year at different stages. He's created a very solid base for himself there. I think it'd be in his interest to stay there as well.
Have you heard him interviewed after games and on, like it was on the Matty John show and all that?
Matty can't get enough of him.
Oh, I know, it's embarrassing with what Fletch does.
The love-in's almost ridiculous. But it's not.
Even the way he handles himself in the media is highly impressive. Like he is just, in America, they call them franchise players.
Yeah.
He's a franchise player.
Yeah.
Sign him up. That's the challenge that the Dolphins have. And who could hold the keys to that franchise for the next decade?
Let's hope so. From a Dolphins perspective, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the Broncos and the Dolphins' challenge to carve themselves out of niche as the second team in Brisbane.
Yep.
You talk about stars and the influence. The Sydney Swans are probably the best example of that. To have one you've almost grown in-house, like Isaiah Katoa. I know he's come through junior systems elsewhere, but he's been there, what's this, the second year of that club?
I think he was there from the start. Didn't he
even
go from
better.
Penrith? Yeah.
So, that's something for people to identify with, to build your brand around. I'm just playing into your franchise argument a little bit longer, but that's all off-field stuff. I think it's really important, though, in terms of your branding, your marketing, what you're selling to your members. It's really, really important for a new club in the NRL.
And he will make people buy memberships.
Yes. He's that good to watch.
So's Hamaso too, by the way, in full flight, fins up with the hammer. That if they stay healthy, they have the opportunity to go top 8 comfortably, top 4 possibly.
I asked you that question about the Sharks yesterday.
I've got 7 sides in my top 4.
Yeah, I know. Ceiling for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Is it a grand final as well?
Oh.
Or is that a step too far?
Cobbo is no shoe-in that lineup, Rob. That's
tend
a
to
good
agree.
point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.